Welcome to the Live Loving live stream with John Davis. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to the Live Loving live stream here in the fabulous John of New Studios. Very excited to see you all here this evening. It's good to be back. Larry, welcome. Sarah, Kelly, Friday. Let's see who else we got in here. Denise, my friend, how are you? Good to see you. Joni, Dogface Pony Soldier, I love the avatar. Mackenzie, how are you? Joe, welcome back. Who else? Do I got Larry, my friend? Welcome. Maria, hello. Who else we got? Anybody else? I think. And my sister Patty's in the house. Hello, Patty. Or as my son and I call her, Tia Patia. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening. Thank you all for coming and spending your time with us as a community on this Friday night. I love it. Hello, Self-Care Maven. Welcome. And you're new to me, too, so there you go. Hi, Julie. How are you? Oh, let's see what we've got going on. I just saw a question. Carolyn, do you think the spirit of Joshua has experienced another human life? You know what? I can't say that I would see why he would or would not. I don't have evidence of it, although I did have a very weird experience years ago, and it wasn't him being a different human life. It was him in this physical world. I was actually doing a show in Maryland, and we would used to end one of our shows with dropping to one knee and doing a funny, humorous prayer, one of those kind of things where you say, may God turn the hearts of your enemies, and if you can't turn their hearts, have them turn their ankles so you know them by their limp. Those sort of jokes. And at one point, we both raised our sword to the sky and we say, "For God." And on this one afternoon, he and I went to God, and I raised my sword up. And for some reason, instead of looking up, I looked out this time, and I looked square into the eyes of a person who looked just like Joshua, just like that. And he went. And I was like, and then I went to look for him for the rest of the show and never saw him again. I only saw him in that 1 minute. And he was wearing regular clothes, which I thought was interesting. But was it Joshua? I don't know, but it reminded me enough of him to think there must be some aspect of Joshua in that moment. But has he been another human or reincarnated in a different form? I have no inkling whatsoever. I wish I wish I did. But I do not have that as a knowing it. I don't know it. So let me jump over here and see what else we got here. Hi, Grant. How are you? Naomi? Welcome. Seen all your interviews. Oh, thank you, Kelly. That's lovely. I've seen them too. Ren Fair humor. Yes, that's exactly what that was, my friend. Ren Fair humor. Yeah, it possibly could have. Hi, Pam. How are you? Welcome. I wanted to talk about something before we really got into a lot of the questions tonight. So if you have questions, just go ahead and start putting them in there in all caps like Marcy said. You guys will notice I'm drinking water. It's still got a day or two of March to go. So I'm still dropping weight. Hi, Jesse. How are you? I wanted to talk about this something I've noticed in a couple people, and it kind of makes me think about how when we're born, many people come in and we're born and our veil is thinner, and we have this kind of an understanding that and no expectation, no belief. And sometimes we end up with parents who are very conditional in the way they love. And what that develops is trust issues. And for many people, that can be debilitating. And for other people, it can be the impetus for change. But for yet another subset, there's this group that begins to look at the world in an untrusting manner. They start to look for the conspiracies and things. To give an example, all of my thumbnails on my videos, I try to put funny faces on there, or something, funny things. And somebody made a comment one time that that I was just doing that to scare my subscribers, to scare them into looking at my video. And there's no intention in that at all. But when you're so looking for someone to be taking advantage of you, or when you're so untrusting that you're always searching for the conspiracy, you're going to see it. It's like that quote that came from the one of the readings, one of the regressions was, when you seek a path, the path is laid before you, but until you turn your path back to yourself, you never find the doorway. Well, when someone is untrusting and looking for conspiracy, they're looking for a path, and they will see conspiracy, because that's what it is. I've had others who have taken words that I've said and kind of written into it their own storyline, though my intention was never there in that way. But I think when we have that perspective of looking at the world for conspiracy, looking at the world in an untrusting way, then all we're really doing is boxing ourselves into a really sad existence, because there's love and there's fear. And if you're looking for conspiracy, or you're looking for someone who's trying to get over on you, you're the one in fear. And it always comes down to what the Buddha says: the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. And so when I see someone who is so untrusting and so scared, not scary, well, it could be scary too, but scared, that they're always looking for the people who are trying to use and abuse and those sorts of things, then they're really living a fearful life, and that's not a really nice way to live. So I would say if you're looking for people trying to be manipulative all the time, then you're probably the one who has to deal with the fear. So that's just my thought on this. Let me jump over and see what I'm missing over here on the comments. I saw some here. Have you read the letter from Pilate to Caesar regarding Jesus? Actually, Dogface, I have not read that letter. I will have to look it up to find it. So, unfortunately, no. Chitra, hello, Chitra. Welcome. my little what? My new studio? It's the same studio, just a lot of different placements of things. Hello, Kim. Do you think shutting down from thought and meditation is similar to having an NDE? That's a really, really interesting question. Do I think shutting down from thought in meditation is similar to having an NDE? Wow. So let me think about this for a second, because when I sit in love, what I'm doing is I'm dipping back into that feeling of pure love, which is the feeling of the other side. So it's kind of an interesting perspective. But for me, sitting in love is not the same visual as the times that I went over, because I on the other side, I was in this pure white expanse and feeling the distance and seeing that. When I'm sitting in love, I'm really in the feeling more than I am in the visual aspects of it. And an NDE is always accompanied by some visual aspect. So I think it's probably one of the stages of it, and I think it's kind of basking in the feeling of it, but without going all the way to the information processing part of it or the physical aspect of it. But I love that question. Thank you, Grant, for asking it. That was a wonderful one. Well, Maxine, I'm glad you like the funny faces. I can't help it. It's just the way I am. I was built this way. I feel like the rabbit in the character in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I'm not naughty. I'm just drawn this way. When I look at the people who are making those kind of comments, I don't take offense ever. I just recognize that they're in a place that they just can't be happy in that place, and that to me is just sad. So, do we have any more questions? Oh, am I missing something here? Oh, wow! I was drawn this way. There you go. Do you think the authors of Matthew and Luke had a bloodline agenda to make Jeshua look like the Messiah? Well, it's interesting. The book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke are all considered to be written from the same source text, and they're written over 100 years after the crucifixion. And I think that all of those earlier books, and in fact all of the ancient texts, were written with an agenda of some sort, and for most likely a messianic agenda. I think that when you look at the trying to prove the bloodlines and all this stuff, the reason why they try to prove the bloodline is because that's from the Judaic teachings, that he would be from the line of David. And so I think a lot of those books have that agenda of proving the messianic line, and to do that, he would have to have the bloodline of David. So, yes. But you have to remember, during the time of Jeshua, they weren't writing things down. It was all word of mouth, and it didn't get written down till later by groups with an agenda. So that to me is how we really need to start looking at those books for what they really are, and from when they really were, because they weren't written when Jeshua was walking. So. Why are we born in sin? I actually did a video on this, Barbara, and it's interesting. Let's talk about sin first. Sin. What is sin? Now, in ancient Greek, the word means to miss the mark, right? Now, when you look at the concept of missing the mark, what's the mark they're missing? They're missing being loving. They're missing love, right? They're missing the mark of love. Instead, they're doing something that's unloving, something that's not there. Now, original sin was the greatest marketing ploy in the world, a recruitment tool in the world. Original sin. Why do they think we're all born sinners? Well, we take on the sins of, Jeshua took on the sins of the world. Whose sins was he taking on? Us, because we were born in sin. And it should irk you, because I don't know any parent who held their child for the first time and said, "Ooh, what a nasty sinner." No one's ever said that. You have this expression of love for this new child that's in front of you. That child is not a sinner in any way, shape, or form. But if you think about where the Christians get it, and especially the Catholics get it, you're born in sin so that you can be indoctrinated into the church, so that you can be baptized, so that you can become a Christian or a Catholic. And it literally is that indoctrination ceremony. The sacraments are designed to keep you in the church and hold you in the church. You're born in sin, so you have to be baptized into the church to stay. You have First Communion, so that it's a fun experience where you get to be celebrated. You get to be 13 years old, where you start to be able to think. They tell you better confirm your faith. You start having an experience where you start maybe doing some naughty things. They say, well, there's only one place you can be absolved, in the Catholic Church anyway. Only one place you can be absolved, and that's the confessional at the church. And then you come up to the point where you start having your hormones kick in. And if you have attraction to the opposite sex, then you are supposed to get married and create more babies with original sin to keep the cycle of Christianity or Catholicism going. If you don't have an inclination for the opposite sex, in the Catholic Church, you're told that you have to take the holy orders and become either a priest or a nun. And we often wonder why priests and pedophilia and all that ends up in the news, because people are denying the way they naturally want to love. And so the church itself is causing the very issue that they're fighting against, because of the fact that they are telling people to deny their natural inclinations. Because homosexuality is a natural thing. They can be found in every animal species on the planet. And so to deny it is to deny yourself, to deny your authentic self, and to deny love in general. So that to me is when I look at this idea of sin and original sin, I look at it as a giant recruitment tool. Let me see. Jump on. Scott, hello. The Buddha was the best. Jeshua was pretty good too. I think Jeshua was pretty good. Love Slingers is here. Did I see that? Much love, many blessings. But beyond biblical belief. I actually watched one of your videos. I enjoyed it very much. Who would ever? How has the Bible lasted so long? Because the churches have kept it going and kept changing it and altering it. You know, if right now with the right to choose and the right to life and all that stuff, if the Christians are truly true to their word, and then life begins at first breath, according to the Bible. Later Christian writers say it began at the time of what they call the quickening, when the mother could feel the baby kicking. That was later Christian writings, not the Bible. And so a lot of the people who are arguing this belief, they're arguing that the Bible's infallible, and yet their Bible says first breath. So there's so many things in the Bible that people are using and manipulating. Dan McClellan talks about an amazing thing. He talks about when people read the Bible, they have to negotiate with it. And what they're negotiating their chosen belief. And they're choosing what certain things mean. And they're arguing their points that this is what this means and it's infallible. But in reality, there's nothing in the Bible that is set in stone. Dan McClellan even says, Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 come from two different source texts. So when you look at the Bible, it's just, it's being handed down. And a lot of the reason why the Bible has lasted so long is because of the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church took it upon their mission to create missions and convert as many as possible. And even when other people went astray of Catholicism, they created the Inquisition, and they created going South and Central America and doing all that. And the reason America has so many Christians is because the Catholics were persecuting different Christians in Europe, and they came to America to escape religious persecution. So it was the Christians fighting the Christians. So it was just an ongoing structure. And it was for power and money and all those things. You have to remember that one of the popes died while having sex, and one of them died of syphilis. So, there's just been conflict all the way through the whole thing. So, thank you for that question, Joe. Do I have subjects that you are drawn to learn about? I love this question too, because lately it's been very interesting to me. I really have been getting into reading Krishnamurti's stuff because I think it's fascinating. After hearing that he had turned down the Theosophical Society trying to get him to announce he was the Messiah, and he turned them down, I wanted to read more about that. So I've been reading some of that lately, which has been interesting. When I find something that really strikes me, I will say that I don't really get into most of the New Age stuff. It just doesn't attract me. I just think it's just new pathways away from ourselves. I like to read things that when I read them, I can read my own divinity within them. I can look into it and say, number one, coming from the foundational stone of my belief, where it's so simple we have a hard time comprehending it, I come at it from the look of simplicity and looking at it from the perspective of how is this empowering me? How is this bringing me to my closer awareness to my divinity? And so when I find subjects like that, that's what I am drawn to. I love this question, Kim. Rules are man-made. Laws are man-made. All of those are of the mind, and those rules are of the physical world. They're physical world rules. When you look at the idea of, is it wrong to steal? Well, is it unloving to steal? Sure, sure. But the rules that are laid out by the mind of man. You know, did they quote unquote sin? Well, they did an unloving thing, so they did miss a mark. But is the definition of sin itself changed so drastically over time? Because in the beginning it was just doing something wrong. And then it became this horrific thing of the devil, and they blew it up into this big monstrous idea. And that's the mind of man going down, creating these laws and rules. You know that St. Paul said that no man should be allowed to wear his hair, is allowed to wear his hair longer than his shoulder. And that was one of the rules laid down. So when I look at the concept of rules, I really do look at it from the mind of man. Do I steal? No. You know, but because I steal because it's not. I don't steal because it's not loving. So I don't go that way. So I hope that answers the question, Kim. I thank you, Malupalu. Malupalu. I love that name. And I thank you for saying you love the videos. I actually love doing them. It's so great. Is it bad, I'm quoting that, to worship idols or deities? Well, bad or good is not something for me to judge. That's for you to judge. For me, the concept of worshiping something is not something I believe. To worship something outside of myself is completely antithetical to Jeshua's teachings. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And so when I look at it, and you finish this with, I know some amazing people who worship Hindu deities, but are told to go to hell. And the interesting thing about the worship of Hindu deities, a lot of people don't understand Hindu deities because there's only one Hindu god. And when you see them talking about Ganesh or Lakshmi or the various idols, those are focus points for aspects of God. So if you want to talk about money or wealth, you go to Lakshmi or to Ganesh, because that's the aspect of God that deals with prosperity and abundance. Or you go to a different aspect, but it's all one God. Really, what those deities and those idols are just focuses. They're focuses. I'm focused on prosperity, so I'm going here. I'm focused on this, so I'm going there. And it's really not. But yeah, the Christians will tell you that they're going to go to hell because the Christians made a decision that Jeshua was the only way. And everybody else had to be wrong. Everybody else was going to burn in hell if they didn't take him as their savior. Hinduism is one of the most beautiful religions I've ever read about. Bhagavad Gita, right behind me here. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful religion. I don't buy into it because it's too much stuff, right? I don't think it's simple enough. I think it's too convoluted. But I think the same thing about most religions. But is it bad? I don't think it's bad that they focus in their beautiful faith towards one aspect of God that is something that they're trying to manifest in their life. I think there's easier ways to go about it. I think you ask, believe, and receive, and you get. I think it's just another way of creation. And I've met beautiful, beautiful, loving Hindus, and beautiful, loving Buddhists and Muslims and Jewish folks and Baha'i, atheists, agnostics. I think if people are loving, they've found God, and I don't care how they get there. That's my take on that one. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. What's interesting is that In the Gnostic, let me read what you said here. What is your thought on using meditation and focusing on breath to manage physical pain? In the Gnostic Gospel of Mary Magdalene, she says all suffering, all ailment is from fear. And when you exhale and you release the air that you're storing in your lungs, there's a cessation of pain. And the reason is because most of your suffering, your pain, is from holding your muscles tense, trying to hold your body in certain ways. And a lot of that is holding air in. Your body suffers and has great pain because the muscles themselves are being overworked, holding air in. And so when you breathe out and you relax everything, you have a cessation of pain. I met interesting life. I met a wonderful Hindu man named Praful Shah. And he was such a nice man, and he had surgery where they had literally taken out some of his abdominal muscles, and he was told he was going to have to only be able to stand an hour or two a day because his intestines would be pushing out and it would cause real problems. And he would every day would get up and he'd go out and he'd sit in a hot tub and he'd just breathe. And when I met him, I was actually working on his house doing landscaping because I worked with school that way. And I knew him for a couple of years. And when I talked to him the last time, he was telling me, well, he lives his life like a normal person. He gets up and goes and does whatever he wants. And because what he does is he takes the time to breathe and understand that his body is his creation, and so I totally believe meditation and focusing on breath to manage physical pain. I come at it from a more simple perspective. I just simply exhale and say, I am releasing the pain. I am living a joy-filled life. I am living a perfect health. And I release the fears associated with ailment, and it works. It works. It's like when I went to the dentist the last time, and she told me that the wisdom teeth were going to be tough because I had deep roots, and she was going to have to use drills and all this stuff. And I said to her, no, you're wrong. I said, this is going to be pain-free and easy. And I exhaled. And I just relaxed all the way through the thing. And the whole thing was pain-free and easy. She gave me a script for painkillers, and I never got it. I never had any pain because I declared it into my experience. But when you declare something in your experience, you have to exhale. You have to release the fears associated with not happening or being there with you. I hope that makes sense. Jay Smith, welcome. I've got a little sniffle there. You are quite welcome, Darby. Oh. This is an interesting perspective. There is no sin. It is just our judgment and religious beliefs. When I channeled for the I Am book, what I got was the sin is just ignorance and separation from our true self, which is love. And, well, if you're missing the mark and our oneness is love, then missing the mark is missing love. So, yeah, it's just another way of saying that. Yes, that's great. Moving on. Let's see. Well, we're obviously doing well, Laura. Thanks for asking. Your picture on the Buddha was the best. Oh, you like me on the Buddha face? If I could ask Jeshua one question, what would it be? Oh my gosh. If I could ask Jeshua one question, what would it be? You know what? I don't know. Probably like, where you been? Something like that. What have you been up to? What have you been doing? If he showed up in this room, I would be like, you want a cup of coffee? And I would have been just relaxing and having a great old time. I would immediately go see if I can find figs somewhere because he loved figs. I love that question, though. Elena, welcome. Tamra, hello. Is it Tamara or Tamara or Tamara? I've known people who pronounce it that spelling all three of those ways. Johanna, you can ask anything you want, and I love your name, Johanna. In the ancient writings, Johannes is John, so I love that. Well, I thank you for that. I did watch, like I said, I watched one of your videos just the other day. I think you sent me a message, and I said, and I know you only have like 30 subscribers or something, but you said you wanted to ask me if you could use my image or something, and I said, why don't you just bring me on the channel? Let's have a chat. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Email me, contact@johnofnew.com. Any thoughts on Way of Mastery? Is this the book, Way of Mastery? Mastery to me is an interesting concept. Mastery itself is an interesting concept because, in my personal opinion, there's no such thing as mastery. I'll tell you why. You can learn, the concept of mastery is to learn everything of one discipline and become the master of that discipline. But all disciplines are evolving. And what's going to happen is you're going to learn everything, and you're going to get very good at everything. But unless you start to then improvise and add to, play with, experiment, and start adding to the discipline, somebody's going to come up behind you, learn everything you did, and then they're going to add to it, and then you're no longer the master. So it's a matter of ongoing understanding, and the concept of mastery and masters in general, I think it kind of creates a hierarchical structure that I don't think Jeshua would have taught. But if you're talking about the book, I believe I read a book called Way of Mastery many years ago, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of books in this room. Let me jump in here. I know this one is in all caps, so I'm going to take it anyway. If we all have free will, how do we work together? We live in a collective consciousness, and I've told this story before, but right now I'm looking across the street at a house. It's a little red brick rancher, and I didn't design that house. I didn't build that house. I didn't live in that house. I didn't decorate that house. I didn't plant those plants over there. But somebody did, and somebody's belief put all those things in those places, and their free will created a house across the street, right? I'm living in this house, and I manifested through making a list and having it just show up on my doorstep, right? Our free will works within the collective consciousness, and the results come to us through the path of least resistance. So in 2001, when I said, thank you, God, for the world travel I'm receiving, the path of least resistance came with 9/11. There was suddenly a war was happening, and they wanted this comedian guy and his partner to go to USO shows. So, they sent me to 16 countries. And then, of course, other opportunities came that took me elsewhere. But did I create the war? No. The collective consciousness had those things in motion. I made my free will saying I am traveling the world. The collective consciousness says, okay, he wants to travel the world, and it just basically falls into place through my free will. And you're going to receive through the path of least resistance. And the less resistance you give it, the faster it comes. So we all work together because we're one. And so that, like I said, that house across the street, when I decided I wanted to move back to the beach, when my son leaves college, I decided, well, this isn't really for me. And right after I thought that, they put a blue roof on that red brick house. And I look out there and I think it's so unattractive. But the second I started thinking this place was no longer for me, my environment started to get less attractive. So that's kind of how it works in my mind. I hope that answers your question, Chris. Are you talking about the when he said that on the cross? My God, why have you forsaken me? I personally don't have a memory of that from my regressions, but I honestly think this was part of the messianic teachings. Because it was said that the Messiah would have a moment like this, and this line came from the Torah. So I think this is one of those writings in the Bible that is designed to make him a Messiah when he himself turned that role down. I hope that makes sense to you. But like I said, that's only my belief. You don't ever have to take anything I believe as fact because it's your own journey. Kali. On the Shroud of Turin, aside from the swollen eye, I recognize from your aggression. I'll have to go back and look at it again. You're asking about the Shroud of Turin. If there's any other features I recognize. My images of the crucifixion and all that are traumatic to say the least. When I even think about it, I get teary-eyed. And so when you try to remember moments from traumatic moments of your life, it's often hard to get details. And so, yeah, I would have to go back and really look at that. Sorry, I can't give more information. Jay, thank you. You hear that? Jay is right. Like it up. Hit that like button. Let everyone know how much you're loving this thing. 52 likes so far. That's pretty good. See that? I have the approval of Chitra. My night is complete. I love you, Chitra. I'm going to try to read this and understand it. How do I believe in the good coming that hasn't happened yet? That, my friend, is the definition of faith. I always thought belief meant it was only meant for things that might not happen, but you hope they will. I do not hope for anything. Otherwise, you'd be 100% sure. I am 100% sure. When I declare something into my life, I declare it into my life, and being 100% sure is what brings it into my life. When I said, thank you, God, for the world travel I'm receiving, I got it in 2 hours. I said, thank you, God, for the unexpected income I'm receiving. I got it in a couple hours. Thank you, God, for the perfect tooth I am receiving. I got it in a few days, but the first call about it came in a couple hours. Thank you, God, for the antique finials I am receiving. It took a couple days, but I got them. I just believe. I literally do think of my world as my Amazon.com. I ask. I put my order in. I don't care what route it takes to get to my house. I just know it's coming, and it does. And I love it. And so your statement is based upon the idea that you don't have faith, because the first question is literally saying you don't have faith. How do I believe in good coming that hasn't happened yet? Well, when you have faith, it hasn't happened yet. It's coming into the experience. The other thing is you started with that whole sentence with the word how. Well, to create in the now, you have to be in the now and present. And the belief in asking how means you believe it's not happening now. And so that whole first sentence is the manifestation of nothing. It creates nothing. How do I believe? You're actually declaring that you don't believe now. In the good, then, how do I believe in the good coming that hasn't happened yet? Well, if miracles were all, they wouldn't be called miracles if they showed up before you asked. So I guess that's my way to ask that. I always thought belief meant it was only meant for things that might not happen, but you hope they will. Things that might happen, but you hope they will. Yeah, see, and even the word hope. Hope means you don't believe it's happening now. The Bible says, whatever you ask in God's name is granted. Moses said God's name is I am, not I was or I will be. The word amen means so be it. It means right here, right now, it's done. All of these out-of-time, non-present moment beliefs will create nothing. You have to believe it's happening now. I am receiving, I am enjoying, I am exploring, I am excited for and then you say, I am excited because I am receiving. I am excited because I'm about to drink wine and wine's coming into my experience, right? Mom says, hey, they're out of wine. He says, Mom, it's not time yet. Fill those jugs with water, place them over there. He started putting his full thought and word deed in the present moment into the fruition of wine. And so there was wine. It's a matter of you saying, I am the creator of my experience. Greater works than I have done, you will do. You can ask mountains to move, it'll move. Nothing's impossible for you. When you pray, believe you shall receive, and you shall. Buddha said, what you think you become, you create your world. Krishna said, you're the culmination of your thought. Shakespeare said, there's nothing good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. It all comes down to you. What do you think about this moment? And if you're thinking how, or you're thinking hope, or you're thinking it's only meant for, then you've created limitations on your present moment, which means you're creating nothing. I hope that makes sense. So it really comes down to, what are you thinking about this moment? Make a declarative choice that it is coming into your experience, and just believe it. Because if you are the creator of the experience, like the Bible says, he literally said, ye are gods, then it comes down to you coming to that space of realizing that you are the inspiration. God is just to paint the paintbrush and the canvas. But nothing goes on the canvas with the paint and the paintbrush without the inspiration that comes first. I hope that answers your question, Scott. Yeah, and you are so welcome, Malu Palu. I love Malu. I hope I'm saying that right. Malu Palu. I like that. I like this. I just like to say it. Love is my religion. Beautiful. And Dalai Lama said, my religion is simple. My religion is kindness. Ain't it sweet to be so simply happy? Transmute pain through love, and the breath will help the struggles away to God. There you go. Do I think Jeshua has reincarnated? I actually answered this question a little earlier. I don't know. I don't know why he would. I know that I have felt his presence, and I saw him show up at a show one time. But it was him, not a different person. So I don't know. I don't know why he would, but I also don't know if he has. So. Yeah, Joe, it's in the works. I just haven't had a chance. I'm not only going to do mugs that say exhale, I'm going to do shirts that say exhale with a period behind it. And they're coming soon, I promise. I'm working it. Just doing a lot of stuff right now. Yeah, I don't. Nobody ever pronounced it right. My mother was always corrected them. Just call her Tammy. Well, I like to honor people by saying the name correctly. And anybody who's had a private session with me knows that I talk to people all over the world, and I try to say people's names correctly, like Chitra Rajashri. So, Chitra Rajashri. I'm hoping. I think I got it right that time, Chitra. I hope so. Moving on. How was my fast, and how did it take you? How long? I'm assuming it said how long did it take you to get acclimated? I'm an intermittent faster. Water in hand. I do I have a process of going into my fast where I do zero carbs for an extended period of time. This time I did zero carbs for weeks, and I only did a shorter fast this year, so but I do zero carbs so that I don't have any carb cravings when the fast hits, and then as an intermittent faster, you know, if you do zero carbs, you're going to naturally intermittent fast anyway, because you're gonna be less hungry all the time, and you're going to end up eating probably 1 to 2 meals a day, period, if you take all carbohydrates out. And once you do that, you'll be amazed. You're never hungry. Your skin clears up, your eyes clear up, your joint pain goes away. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So, but yeah, my period of zero carbs is what. By the time I get to the water fasting, it's just I just don't eat the one meal that I usually eat. So, so it's actually very very simple. You would have to you would have to ask somebody who knows something about being a yogi. I know nothing about being a yogi. I That would be one of those pathways that I think is not as simple as I believe it is. So but I think other people have found beautiful lives doing that. So I would say that you'd have to ask somebody who's going down that route. Uh, oh, thank you, Ray. Welcome, Ray. That's nice to hear. Thank you. I'm glad people are finding those other interviews. That one that I did just recently, where there was no host, it was just me talking. That was such an exciting interview for me, because the person who I was actually talking with, who was on there recording it, and then they edited themselves out, was from Cambodia, and it was really kind of fun. So lots of visions through my awakening and spiritual work that I do, though I do not know if I ever. Yeah, and honestly, Laura, it doesn't matter who anybody was in a past life. It only matters who you are in the present moment. It's the only moment you're conscious. It's the only moment you have thought, word, and deed. And so it really doesn't matter who you were in a past. What are you doing now? And that's all that really matters. That's why my channel is called John of New and not John of Old. Bright Love is here. Hello, Bright Love. Just left the Titanic exhibit at Pigeon Forge. Very cool. I want to go to Pigeon Forge sometimes. I think that'd be fun. I love the mountains. I'm trying to catch up with you guys because you guys are kicking butt here. Tim Zeal, hello. Why do we complicate almost everything where divine design is all about simplicity? You know, Occam's razor said the simplest answer is usually the correct one. And when you look at it from the idea of the story of Adam and Eve, they ate from the tree of knowledge, they got kicked out of paradise. Once they got in their heads and they started creating rules and laws and structures and dogmas and rituals and all that stuff, they lost the feeling of paradise. They lost the feeling of pure love. And we try to do those things to understand, but God speaks to us in feelings, not thinkings. And all of the complexity is the structures of thought around the feelings. But the feelings themselves are where the truth lies and the wisdom lies. Yeah, that's my take on that anyway. Oh, hello. Tell your son hello, bright love. Hello. I need a poster on them all to say, remember to exhale. I said to somebody today, I said, the rule is to have equal numbers of ins and as outs. And as long as you keep the number equal, you'll be fine. Why does everyone say any dream of Jesus is with him chuckling? It's because laughter is very high energy. I love this question. The majority of my past life regressions memories of him are laughing on the side of a road, or laughing in eating, or laughing doing something. You have to remember that the most fearless state is when you're exhaling, and a laugh is a joyful exhale. So when you're truly laughing, you're number one, you're touching your authentic self, but you're also touching God at the bottom of a laugh. And to be in that joyful state is a beautiful sensation. I laugh every day. And I was very blessed earlier today. I did a private session with someone today who was in a rough place. And by the end of the hour, we were laughing so hard, and every time she'd laugh, I'd remind her that that's the connection. That's God right there, and you chose to laugh, and you found that funny, and you freed yourself from fear to just be 100% in that one moment, fearless and present. That's what a laugh is. And so all things happen in the present. I am. Joshua said, think not upon tomorrow, be here today. And a laugh in this moment is a fearless moment. And once again, the Buddha said the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. So it comes down to the space of laughter is sacred. Laughter is spiritual. Laughter is our oneness with God expressed aloud in the world. And if you can find laughter every day, you want to find laughter, tune into any one of Marcy's videos. She laughs on every one of them. And it makes me smile. That's why I watch them every day. I'm just like, ooh, I love that. So go over there and subscribe to her channel. By the way, subscriptions, thank you, folks. 21,000 subscribers on this channel, and we're coming up to 10,000 on the other channel. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for spreading the word and for helping people find us, and it's just been lovely. Thank you so much. You know what? It's very interesting. Lately, I've had several people who are like, you need to do these videos in Spanish. And I show them how that you can translate any video on YouTube to any language in the world just by going down into the bottom, into the settings cog, and then going over to closed captioning and choosing the language. And it'll show it to you, whatever they're saying in that language. But people are like, well, you have to record them in Spanish. Well, I've got 1,400 videos. I'm not going to go back and record them all in Spanish. And the videos that I'm making now, that would double my workload to suddenly have to have the same video in Spanish. I would have to like make another entire file and upload that. And so and I appreciate the offer, Joanna. But that's why I actually have a little video that's not on the regular channel. It's not listed on YouTube, but it's accessible. So when someone asks me how to, about doing it in Spanish, I just send them a little video made about how to translate it into Spanish, right, with the algorithm. When I'll suddenly get a thought of him, and I'll get a feeling, or sometimes I'll get a feeling and a thought. But if you ever listen to my regression, you'll hear the moment where I'm like, oh my God, you can feel him. You can feel him. I could totally tell you that that feeling itself is so recognizable. When you feel it, you just know it's him. And so for me, it's like, ooh, it's great. And sometimes when you watch me do these live streams, every so often you'll see me start speaking really fast. A lot of times it's because I'm feeling either him or something at that moment. I'll just start blah 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 blah. Things will just start rolling. That's because I'm just kind of like feeling and just letting my mouth talk. So I hope that makes sense. You'll buy a couple T-shirts. I'll get them done, baby. I promise. And mugs. Yeah, no cardboard. It's amazing. Do I have any book recommendations? Actually, and I don't know if it's still on my video description or not, but I actually have a book list that I made a long time ago, and it's a list, and it's affiliate links, by the way, just so you're aware. If you, that is connected to all the Amazon books, and you can go over there and if you might be able to just go down there and read them, and then go find them in a thrift store or find them on cheaper somewhere else. But I made a list and I made links for all of them. And if it's not in the description, I will add it to the description of this video after it's all done. I'll find it again. But I haven't really been pushing that. But yeah, I do have a book list you can go through. I'm so glad I said it right, Rajashri. Well, there you go. There's your answer. Anyone doing yoga is a yogi. There you go. Thank you, Chitra, for that. I don't do yoga. I just don't look good in leg warmers. I don't know what it is. Well, Black Boots, I hope you're having a good time while you're here as the first time. Joyful. Yeah. Now, you never heard me with Linda G. I was never able to get Linda G to bring me on. And, that's okay. That's her choice. The Exhale merch is coming, and I'll start wearing them on videos. You'll see them. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it yesterday. Thank you. I love doing sessions. I just love doing sessions. I am one of the luckiest people in the world. I get to watch people become empowered every day, and I just love it. Oh, you're so Alandelf. It sounds so Tolkien. I love that name. Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad you're hearing it. 21. I'm going to zip down a little bit here because we're coming to the end of our... Why are skeletons so calm? Why? Because nothing gets under their skin. Oh, bump. That's a good one. What's Irish and sits on your front porch? Patio furniture. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right, Jay Smith. The love in this chat is off the top. This is the greatest community of people. I just love it. I just love the people who show up and chat. And I think of all the ones we've done, Marcy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've only ever had one troll who showed up, and we were able to go, boom, see ya. Love it. Oh, Holly Manson! Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, the star of the show has arrived. Holly Manson, the Light Seeds by Holly, the animal Reiki practitioner, been on several videos with me. Ladies and gentlemen, you should go check her out. Go to lightseedsbyholly.com and look at all the things. Look at the testimonials of people who've had amazing healings with their animals through that purple-haired lady right there. So good to see you. Jumping down. Can I tell you about this? Absolutely. I had my regression in 1999. 3 months later, I painted that picture from my memory. That is what Jeshua looked like. And I have a lot of people who want to argue that that's not what he looked like, but I'm coming from my past life regression memory of what he looked like. And so that is what he looked like. And that's okay if you don't believe it, that's fine. But that I painted it myself in the year 2000. If you look at the bottom, it says John Davis 00, because I always put the date on the bottom. So yeah, I painted that just a few months after the regression from memory. So I hope that answers your question. Jumping down. What are the greatest commandments to live by? I leave you one commandment: love one another. Boom. Taking a bow. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Holly Madsen. We don't, you're absolutely right. We do not tolerate trolls. My channel is a safe place for people to talk their beliefs as long as they are respectful. Second, they're not. See ya. Out of here. Patai Swamler saying hi, sis, to Miss Madsen over there. Love that. Oh, my gosh. Well, Maria, you say you're a bit behind. Well, it's about time for me to wind down this wonderful session with you guys tonight. It's been lovely hanging out with you on a Friday night. My son is here for a week. He's got spring break this week, so I have to put up with him all week. It's terrible. And so I'm going to go hang out with him for a little bit. We're probably going to watch a movie or something because I have the opportunity to. Patty, Universal Sister. There you go. Patty, you would love Chitra. So yeah, I'm going to wind this down. I'm sorry I can't get to any more of your questions. I will actually. I see Grant's just popped up. Let me hop his real quick. I don't believe in that at all. I believe it's all far simpler. So that's my thought on that, and I hope that is. And if you believe that, that's fine. I respect your beliefs. I just don't believe it. So, anyway, thank you all, guys. You have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you. Let me get that off of there. And I will talk to you on the next live stream in 2 weeks. Not next week, but the following. And still videos coming out every day. Have a great day. I love you all. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining us at the Live Loving live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and visit us at johnofnew.com.